Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Guys, I have a real treat for you today. I have with me today former NFL players Jameion Spencer, who is not a stranger to the show, and Cedric Donaldson, who after today, I don't think he's going to be a stranger either. Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Oh, doing great.
Fantastic.
Awesome. This is going to be so fun. So, Jameion, since you've been here several times, and it's just like you kind of live here, I'm not going. You don't have to tell the listeners about you. They know about you. Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
All right, Cedric Donaldson from Jackson, Mississippi, the Provine, then LSU. Played a little while in the NFL. The NFL played me a little while.
We'll get to that.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. Living in Alabama right now, and physical therapist by trade.
Physical therapist, cool. So now I've known Ced literally all his life. We grew up in the same church, and I watched your mom, Aunt Lou, be pregnant with several of y'all big heads because she was trying to have a girl. She wanted a girl so bad. So, I mean, she was such an amazing woman. I loved her so much. But let me tell how I brought these two together. Jameion sent me a footage of an interview of him in his hometown of Monroe, Louisiana. And I put the video on my page in Cedric's brother, Percy. He started commenting on the post saying how he remembered Jameion and said played against him while playing at Provine. Talking to Jameion and said, I knew I had to bring both of them together. One, to make me laugh, and also to talk about how they met playing against each other in high school, playing each other in college, and how it was playing against Coach Dungy while in the league. So who wants to start? Because y'all both been talking noise.
Oh yeah, I'll start. I think
to me.
I think I should start it because you want the first impression.
Well, let's go ahead and get the lies out the way.
Let's go there.
All right. Hey, so Provine, everybody, you're from Jackson. You've seen Provine, you've seen where we play, how we travel to games, all that, right?
Right.
The week of the game against Washita, the coaches wouldn't even let us watch film.
Why?
He was like, y'all don't need to see that. So, the closest to the game, man, I don't know how I did it, but he let me watch one game. I watched Washita versus Marshall, Texas. And I was looking, I was like, and our biggest guy was Chad Ford. He was a, defensive lineman, offensive lineman. And I looked, and I'm like, this tailback is bigger than Chad. And we were done. And so I've never been known for hitting. I played corner. I was a cover guy all the way. The week before, a couple of weeks before, I realized I had a stress lumbar fracture in my vertebrae.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to play this game, but I was like, man, it's no way if that guy come around this corner, I'm gonna hit him at all. So we pull up to the school.
How did it look, Ced?
Oh man, it's a small college. Like,
Ced, come on, man.
I'm like coming from where we come from. Now, I mean, we pull up, man. That thing is nice, and then y'all have a tenant weight room.
Yeah.
And then lifting weights before the game, man. With Ida Tiger playing, we beat before we get out the bus, no doubt. We done lost the moment we watched them 2 days ago. So the game started, and they get that thing to Jamie, man. He coming up through there. I'm like, Lord have mercy, this is gonna be the longest. Hey. They were animals, man. I'm gonna leave it right there. I want to hear Jamie.
No, so let me tell the truth.
Wait, Jamie, before you give your account, at that time you were 5'9", 140 at that time?
Yeah, me. Yeah, no. I was 5'7". I left high school.
Oh,
5'7", 147 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I probably was about 135 at the time, so up in there.
Because we were juniors. We were juniors now.
Yeah.
We were juniors.
What was your stat? What was your weight and height?
Well, that wasn't important at the time.
Yes, it is.
It was, it was relative. It was like 7 years ago, man. I don't quite remember. I don't quite remember. But hold on though. Let me tell you the truth though. Let me tell you the truth. We knew, we had this game set up with Provine, and we heard all these things about these guys out of Provine, right? So we watched the film. We saw the material that was in front of us, and the one thing one of our coaches always did was he made sure that we did not forget who was on that film, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what really happened was these guys showed up, I don't know, probably 3-4 hours before the game. Right? It was pretty early, It was early, right? So they got off the bus, Sonia, and Provine took over our campus. They wanted to take over our field. So what really happened is that when they started warming up out there, typically you cut the field in half. It's their half, it's our half, right?
Right.
We quickly learned that, these cats were all the way down to our 25. So we're like, huh. So we sent a couple of our managers out there, and and they quickly turned these cats around. So we're like, oh. So that's what sparked weightlifting before the game. Because, we figured
y'all were not weightlifting before that happened.
No. We figured we had to go ahead and we had to get our game face right before we stepped out here, because obviously these were men with mortgages that were coming with the real deal this day. So story be told, yes. When they came off the bus, it was time to party, and they let us know that very early on. And as much as Ced probably want to tell you he was 5'7", Ced was one of those cats that stuck out in my mind simply because he was super scrappy, and he was super hype as far as any and everything. So no matter what was said, if there was a war to be fought, I know who was standing up front, charging everybody up, ready to roll. So that's why Ced stuck out in my mind.
I had to get him hyped, man, because I needed them to stop you before you got to me.
Look.
So it was a reason for that scrappiness that day.
Oh man, look here. I'm gonna tell you a story, man. This is gonna be so funny, man. Like one of our biggest, I'm not gonna say his name. One of our biggest, fastest, best athletes ever. I mean, he's probably one of the best athletes I've ever been around, like in football. Some way he hurt an ankle or something. We out on the field. It's getting fourth quarter, man. I mean, like. They literally dragging us, and we on the sideline in a huddle, and we trying to get up a game plan together, just try to keep the team together. And this man sitting on the sideline, walking up and down the sideline, talking about who the Debbie Cakes is. Wait
a minute, do I know him? Said
yeah, yeah. That man said he was like, man, who the Debbie Cakes is these? So, Kenny Page, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Kenny Page, he's playing a little corner. Rico Harper, he's playing a little safety, and Darryl Owens, at that time, Darryl was young, but, he went on to become like the number one linebacker in the nation. But I told Kenny Page, I said, hey, all right, you come around the corner. I'm going to go low, you go high. Kenny Page said, what I'm going to go high for?
Wait. So, Jamie, y'all had all of them scared. What, Jamie? I need to hear something.
They were beast. Hey, they had a squad, man.
Jamie, why you scare my team like that?
Look, we were just trying to show we were worthy of being on the field because look, they had the talk game. They had us talked out at the start.
Jackson now. We can talk more.
That's how we do.
They had us talked out. I mean, I'm talking about when you saw the look on our guys' face when they walked back in, our kickers, they were pretty much like, look, I mean, hopefully we ain't got a punt or kick off for this game. You know, and you know, and me being me, I never was a big talker. Right? You know, I just, you know, we lock in. Me and J5, we lock in because you know that was like the combo for us. We were like, look, if we're gonna go down swinging, right? So, as we got out there, you know what I mean, and that first couple of series, I remember, you know, we had big guys. Provine was fast, right?
Yeah.
They were extremely fast, and we recognized very quickly that, you know, we weren't going to try and spread the field on them. We were going to bunch these guys up and make them play in a crowd.
Okay.
And, you know, we that was our whole strategy. We were going to make them play in a crowd. And I remember the first couple of series, man, we were out there and first time we end up, you know, in like, I ain't gonna say a little tussle, but, you know, just, you know, 4 yards of cloud of smoke, right? It was just like, you know,
little scrum.
There you go, little scrum. And we down there, and then look, and I remember I'm trying to get up off the ground, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like ripping my elbow pad off, right? So,
he really probably thought it was
look, but it made me mad because that was my favorite pair of pants. So if anything happened, that elbow pad is what ignited the fire at that point. So at that point, I was like, man, I'm not getting up. I'm done. I'm finished. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun. No, it was a lot of fun.
It was awesome, man. It was so much talent on that field.
Yeah.
That night, I was telling Sonya about, I went on my visit to CU, and I was watching the highlight film, and you know, I didn't know any of the players' names or nothing. I just saw this small cat just taking people's soul. And I told the coach, I told the coach, I said, that guy went to Washita. He said, yep. He said, how you know? I remember that.
Look, and you know, and that was what was the most amazing part. And I tell people all the time, I don't know how, as a college recruiter, you skipped over North Louisiana, North Central Mississippi, right? I don't understand how people skipped over a lot of those during that time, because there were so many athletes who gave you so much more than what they showed you, right? You know what I mean? They weren't physically big, but these cats had big hearts, and they had big ideas, and they scrapped, they hustled. They were smart, they were intuitive, and, you know, and it forced you to always, you know, iron sharpens iron, and, man, and you had to bring your A game. You had to bring your A game. And I know for us, when we started playing a lot of the Mississippi teams, man, you know, the scores didn't matter because it was really a test of what you were bringing to the field that day, right?
Yeah.
And if you weren't bringing your A game, you were going not only hear it, but you would get embarrassed very quickly, right? You would get embarrassed
real quick.
So okay, so I know the first game, Jameion, you all just pretty much, like you said, y'all was just dragging them. So y'all beat that game.
Yeah.
Then you come to Jackson and you play Provine. Come on, don't sigh. I mean, you split it 1-1. And Jameion told me, he he was hurt, and that's the only reason why they lost.
Now, you remember? I didn't play that game.
Yeah, he didn't play that game.
I didn't play that game.
I mean, that's a huge shock.
It was a deal, so because I wanted to play that game bad. I really wanted to play that game. I was nursing a knee or ankle or something at that time. But when we came to Provine, all I remember getting off the bus was a crowd of people. And they started talking noise, and I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, why are these cats talking noise? Like, you know what I mean? I'm talking about they heckled us all the way. And you know, in Provine, look, they put us in y'all visit the locker room and said y'all know y'all were wrong for that. Where y'all put us over there?
It's just a terrible locker room. And it's way on the other side of the field.
I don't even think it was locker room.
It's like two walls in between the girls and the men's bathroom.
Yeah. And, you know, we were in the hallway. I'm out in the grass.
Oh my! Well, compared to your plush college area.
Look, they knew what they were doing. Wait a minute. Because the whole time we were out there, everybody just passing by, just talking noise to us. Right? So they mentally got us captured right from the very jump.
Oh my God! Did you say two walls and a bathroom?
Yeah, just in between the bathroom, men and women. Hey, look at it is a big difference though. Like when we played in Louisiana, they could cut, and I ain't tell you that. Like everybody came home with a knee brace on. Like if you we weren't used to fending off the cut block.
And you could tell those guys in Mississippi weren't used to it either. That's why I was like, man, if they think they can run, because they would just take off. I mean, they would just leave those legs just wide open, and I'd be like, man, poor guy, he just don't know what's coming.
you ain't been working at none, boy. You go down there. You're up out of here, son.
But when we went to Mississippi, every play they were bringing back. Look, and Sonya, the bad part about it, so I didn't play the game, right? So I didn't play the game. Now my boy J5 was out there doing his thing. I mean, and literally the boy probably had like 300 total yards, but really they only counted about 100 because of all the penalties, right? Yeah. I mean, it was just that bad for us, right? So I got so frustrated, Sonya. I mean, it was like, I forget what the score was, but I know it was a critical drive for us in the fourth quarter. And they had already taken my helmet and all this other stuff. So what do I do? I get so emotional into it. I go run my butt out on the field and cost us another penalty. I ain't got nobody helmet on. I ain't got no
so you just run out on the field.
I'm just in the huddle. And everybody looking at me like, what are you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, look at J5 was so fast, man. Lord have mercy, man.
Yeah.
He was a blaze. Hey, let me tell you this funny story.
But Jameion was fast.
Yeah,
no, J5 was a whole different gear.
Oh yeah, he was almost. You could hardly see him.
You couldn't touch him in a phone booth.
Nah.
I'm serious. He was. J5 was. He was the real deal. He was the real deal.
I'll tell you a funny story about this, man. So when we was in Washington, they threw a pass to him. He was wide open, and he was so wide open. That's the hardest pass to catch. He dropped it, and the announcer said, "Don't worry about it. We'll do it again." And they did it again. Like the same. He came out of that backfield. You weren't going to cover him with no linebacker, man. So it was over,
crazy. Man. So, Jameion, besides you not playing in the game, was it a close game in Jackson? And what was going on while the penalty?
Oh, the cutting.
Yeah, it was a lot of procedural stuff. So there's a big difference, and I think it's been leveled off now. back in the 90s, what I didn't realize is that when you go across state lines, your procedural penalties, if you don't prepare for the procedural differences between your officiating, it's just it changes the whole dynamic of your game for you, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cut blocks, double teams, a lot of stuff, combos weren't legal in Mississippi. And Louisiana, yeah, we wide open with them, right?
Right.
and rightfully so, for the sake of safety, it was the better thing to do for the athletes, right? And Louisiana ended up adopting that later on, the whole no cuts and everything else. But for us, we weren't always the best athletes on the field for the school we played at, right? So we would always end up having to really scheme our way in and out of games a lot, right? So a lot of times what you did, misdirection, get people off centered, off balance. We always said people can't tackle you if they're on the ground. So, that was our philosophy. And, that's the reason why when we came to Mississippi, it was a huge difference. It was a huge difference in the way we were forced to play.
Yeah. So because Jameion was hurt and no cutting, the penalties, that saved us.
Yeah. We had that was a year, so I'm a year older than you, Jamie, so I ain't playing that game. I did, because I was at,
I thought you were at that game.
I don't think I played that game, because that was the year Provine went to the championship. Yeah. They went undefeated that year. They went to the championship. So Provine had a good team, but
they did.
If he would have played, man, it would have changed the game, man. You can't, he would have touched the ball as many times as he would have had to touch the ball, he would have changed the game.
Wow.
But it was, teams, man, was so talented, man. What was we call him Bill Bates, man. Y'all had a safety, a white guy.
Joey Marzullo.
Hey, it's just, I'm going to call his name because I always mess with him about it. Reggie Banks was our tailback. Mm-hmm. And we watching the film. It was hard during the game when he got hit, but we watching the film and Reggie was if you're watching the TV, Reggie was at the end of the screen. You couldn't see nothing in front of him, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, was he number 40?
Number 40, yep.
He just come out.
You remember that?
Hey, I know. I'm like, because
we get together and we still talk about this. Every time I see him, I be like, "Hey, man, your soul made it back in." Hey, he came out of nowhere, man, and just like boom, you just see him explode in the screen, man. It was one of the nastiest licks I've ever seen in high school football. It just happened to happen to my teammate. But we still talk about that, man. 30 years later, we still like,
wow.
Rich, man, that guy took your soul, man.
And I know you really let him have it too.
Really let him have it. So at the little barbershop, where we go and we talk, Reg has an office in there. So it's Reg, Kenny Page, and your old coworker. I guess he still work with you.
Stacy.
Stacy Webb.
Stacy Webb. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we all sit in there and we all talk about the past or whatever. And he always saying like, "Man, I'm gonna bring Big Jamie in here. He gonna run over y'all again." Hey, and ain't nobody denying it. We be like, yeah.
You like, yeah, you right.
Yeah. He ran all over us, and hey, it was well. He did a good job.
Yeah. I tell you, but it was a lot of fun. And even with the, moving when we talk about going from high school to even college, it's like that same spirit and those memories kind of, went on and lasted on because, I was kind of on the opposite side the first time we came to Death Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you talk about loaded LSU team that, we were going in the middle of, even my own girlfriend at the time was rooting against me. So.
Hey, let me say this, man. So
he talked about T the other day.
Yeah, I told T before the game, I said, "Hey, Look here. Last time I played, Jamie, I was like 140. I'm 170 now. She's like, man, get out of here with that bug, man. Hey, she knew wasn't none popping because at LSU they used to call me cover man because they already knew. I was like, hey, man, you want me to cover these receivers? I need to tackle these running backs. Right.
I got this covered over here.
I got this covered out here. I don't want no parts of that up in there. Hey, but man, that was awesome getting a chance to play Notre Dame because I grew up. I was a Florida State fan, and the Florida State Notre Dame games were that was crucial.
They were classic, yeah.
Yeah. And so, man, just to get out on the field, man, you see them gold helmets, man, and you on the field with them. Dude, that was awesome, man. That was an awesome experience.
And that's what amazes me is how both of your lives were so parallel. You both were from small cities in the South. You both wanted to play for the SWAC, but ended up playing for successful football programs. Like you said, Jameion, Notre Dame, you at LSU, and then you both played for Tampa Bay and Coach Dungy.
Yep.
Now, and it's just, and that's why I was so amazed when I found out that. You knew each other, and I'm like, oh my God, this world is so small, and I never knew. I didn't put the connection together because I knew y'all were in school at the same time, but it didn't until I knew he played Provine. It just didn't click.
Yeah.
So, you was about to say something?
Two of my closest friends from college played with Jamie at Washington. Lee Stromberg. Big Lee Stromberg. Lee was at my wedding.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Lee came down to my wedding. Him and his wife, Tess. Them my people, man. And Rodney Hudson. Yeah, Rodney Hudson.
Wow.
So I just talked to Rodney yesterday.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben. Look, and his son, who's right now over in Arkansas, is one that you need to be looking out for too. So,
animal. Rodney Hudson.
His son's name is Rodney Hudson too?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, he's a junior. Okay.
He's a
sophomore. He's been sophomore this year, but
No, I was meaning like Rodney Hudson Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get you his info, but yeah, he's one to look out for. But yeah, it just speaks to it, man. It's a small circle. It's a small world. You'd be surprised who you run across, and when you talk about those parallel paths, it's phenomenal to kind of go through it because a lot of times you get so consumed with activity and the schedules and everything else that if you don't slow down and enjoy it, man, it'll pass by you in a heartbeat, and you'll be regretting every second that you didn't take that time. And
right. That's true. So, let me switch gears. I just want to delve in your football history a little bit. When you left Provine, we just said this a couple of times, you were 5'9", 140 pounds, and your first stop was JSU. Take us through your journey to play college ball.
Man, like James, I was scrappy, man. Like, and I was small, but I used to see the scouts coming to see like my teammates, like Taboris Fisher and Carlos Knight, Ramondo Martin, and so whenever I got a chance to go up against like Taboris, he was one of the top receivers in the nation. If the scouts was there, that's all I was gonna go after.
Right.
But I was small, so schools were sending me letters. But when they came to see me, they were like, man, come on now. So I never knew anything about Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I was a Jackson State fan. That's where I was on Saturdays. I was at Memorial Stadium, watching, Willie Cotton and, Rice and, whoever. So I thought I was going to Jackson State. And the day that we walked in to sign, on signing day, the coach came in and told me, he said, hey, I'm going to talk like him. I got two young corners. We're going to bring you in and we're going to redshirt you. I'm like, nah, coach, I know I'm little, man, but I'm ready. I didn't want a red shirt, and so I didn't sign my paper. And I got up and I walked across the room to Coach Hughes, who was a coach at Hines, and I said, Coach, if I signed there, he said, well, man, we don't have any more scholarships. And I said, I'll walk on. And he said, will you? I said, yeah. He said, you come, we'll find you someone. We'll find you something. And so I walked on at Hines. And, and it went from there.
So while at Hines, did JSU try to recruit you at all after that?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
And seems your size could have been an issue, but with your confidence and your swiftness, you made it to LSU. How did you get there?
Well, one good thing is that the first day I stepped on a scale, after high school, the first day I stepped on a scale in college, I was 147 pounds, 5'7", right? Mm-hmm. And by August, I was 5'9", 165. Mm. So I had a little growth spurt, but I was still behind. I ended up playing behind two All-Americans at Hines, which was Ramondo Martin and this other guy named Munchie. But every chance I got to get on the field, one time I snuck on the field. I wasn't even supposed to be out there. It was a state. Listen to this, Jamie. It was a state championship game, and they had just scored, and we were down, and it was coming toward the end of the game, and I'm counting the people out on the field, and it was only 10. And one of the big linemen were missing up front. And so I just put my helmet on and ran out there right before they kicked. I didn't know who to block, nobody. I'm telling you, this is like, it was meant to be. So I get out there, I don't know who to block. I get in somebody's way, and our returner broke it. Luckily, I was out there. I was fast enough to catch up with him, get in front of him, and throw the last block to spring him, and we scored and won the game, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so,
awesome. Awesome.
Coach was like, what are you doing out there? Yes.
Look, and then you can tell him that I'm making waves for TDs.
Hey, I'm making waves, man. We had to do it. So, but anytime they let me on the field, I didn't complain about having to play behind. I actually appreciated playing behind, these guys or whatever. I learned so much from them. But junior college was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that I've ever made. Yeah, and we had a lot of pros off of those 2 years of junior college. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of professionals off of that team. So.
Yeah, JUCO is where it's at. A lot of people have been recruiting from JUCOs. They got some good players. So you're right. That was probably the best decision you made. Yeah.
But I do want to say this. LSU, they stuck with me. Like, they recruited me. They saw me. I was small. They had a Coach Davis. He was still, interested in recruiting me. I talked to Curly Hallman, and he was straight up with me. He didn't think he was going to keep his job. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, man, I'd love to have you here.
You on?
Well, he didn't think he was going to be there.
Period. Okay.
Yeah, the next year. So if I would have came, I was that small. He was like, you might get lost in the shuffle if a new coach come in. And so when I had the opportunity to, show loyalty, I just remember him and them being loyal to me. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going back to LSU. Because they was one of the ones that didn't turn me down. They didn't just flat out say, too small, you can't play in the SEC, get out of here.
Did you ever dream that you would play in the SEC?
Nah, man. Like I said, all I want to do is play for Jackson State. I wanted to be Kevin. What was his name? Kevin Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to be.
Wow.
But say, let me ask you this. I'm sorry, Sonya. I know I'm
go.
But let me ask you this though. Once you were at LSU, once you got on the field, what was that feeling like for you then?
Man, it was. I told my pops. Like, I've never been like stage. I don't have stage fright and all that kind of stuff, man. But at nighttime, my first game was a night game at LSU. All you could smell was bourbon.
Grass.
And grass. It was hot. Some people were loud, man. dude, I found myself just looking around, like, it was, I don't know, man. It was different, man. It was different, man. Louisiana, man, I appreciate y'all. I'm telling you. I really appreciate y'all.
So you make it to the league, something you dreamt about and was working toward all your football career, and you were recruited by Coach Bill Parcells to join the New York Jets. But you pulled a hamstring, and Parcells traded you to Tampa Bay.
Can't make club in the tub.
I read in an interview.
That's what it is.
I read an interview. You said Parcells hated rookies. Why did he hate rookies?
Man, he hated to have to. I don't think he hated rookies, but he made you think he hated you. But he had what he called circle the wagon guys, and you know, guys that he trusted, and he just said he couldn't trust rookies. You know, it's like you're always gonna make a bonehead decision, and he didn't want to lose with a rookie, man, at all.
Didn't know him, couldn't trust him.
Couldn't trust him. Hey, but he was awesome. I'm talking about, for me, he was hard. He stayed on me. You know, but I needed that. Like, I needed that, and matter of fact, when I left him, I went to Tampa. I didn't know how to act with Coach Dungy because, you know, he didn't really raise his voice, you know.
Dude, was he not a silent intimidator?
Woo, man.
No.
Like, he didn't have to.
I love him.
Oh, yeah, he was awesome, man.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. But he didn't cuss. He didn't let you cuss. Nope. He was calm all the time. He had his 2 rules, right? And those 2 rules, I mean, and it made you think about everything that you ever thought about doing, right? You know, it was like, it was so weird. It was so weird because he was such a different individual, but yet I learned a lot from him, not only from just a football perspective, but how you interact with people, how you engage with people, how you get people to buy in. You know, that's what was the awesome thing with Tony.
Hey, look here, I knew when I got there and I saw the amount of respect Warren Sapp showed him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Warren he didn't respect hardly anybody or anything, but the amount of respect he showed Coach Dungy, and he didn't even have to even get on him, man. Like, he would just look at you in a certain way, and you feel like you didn't let your grandmama down. For real, man.
You'd be like, dang. Well, you know, I asked Jameion, I asked him, so wait a minute, so you must have played for Dungy first, said, right? You played because, I mean, you were with Philadelphia? Because I know y'all didn't both play together, right?
Nah, I was with the Jets first.
I'm saying you were with Dungy before.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I would have been there during his last years there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I asked Jameion this question a couple of interviews ago when we were talking about him playing for Dungy, and I know doesn't apply to you because I asked Jameion, was Dungy his first black head coach, and he was saying yes, and I know that was not yours because you played, at Provine.
Oh yeah.
And, but how was it being coached by him? You know, you explained him being very quiet, but was it kind of like the same experience, not learning just coaching, but being a man, like Jameion was mentioning earlier?
Yeah, because it was like he had a whole staff of respectable black coaches. You know what I mean? Like, he had a lot of black coaches when I was there. Lovie Smith, Herman Elwood, what's
Tony Nathan.
Yeah, Tony Nathan. Tony, one of the coolest cats.
Yep.
Walking, man.
Yep.
And man, I just found out Tony Nathan is from. I ain't just found out, but when I moved here, I found out he was from Birmingham, and I'm meeting all his people, family, and so that's cool. But I felt comfortable with Coach, but I also knew like the weight that he was carrying, being the black head coach. I think we all knew, man, like that you really needed to win,
Right.
Like Yeah, you had to win for him, man. Like, you couldn't just be out acting a clown and all that kind of stuff because it wasn't just about your head coach losing his job. It was like Coach Dungy, black head coach losing his job. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I know, like, you sat on the bench for 2 years and you never played.
Yeah.
How did that? It was just like taking you back with Jackson State. How did that make you feel? Because you finally make it to the league and then you're not playing.
Yeah, I was done because I wasn't enamored with the league. Like I was there to play, you know.
Right.
And this is how naive I was. Dude, I went home. Like, I sat on the bench. I got a plane ticket. I went to the crib. Coach Dungy called me, like, said, what's going on? I was like, Coach, man, I can't sit on the bench, man. Like, I'm and
wow.
you know, he was like, what? I was like, Coach, man, I want to play, man. Like, sitting on the bench, man, he used to murder me. And if this would have happened with any other coach, you would have never heard of me again. Like, I'd have been like super gone.
That lets you know he really liked you because he granted you the opportunity to go play in the NFLE.
Yeah, in NFL Europe.
Yeah.
So he told me to come back, and you know, I was a practice squad. And he told me, he said, "Hey, come back, and you know, you can go to the games on, you know, the games you want to go to. Just get more involved, and you know, we're gonna start including you because they knew I could play. You know, it wasn't a question about." But they played a cover 2, and that's a defense where the corners have to be in the run game.
You got to be in the run game. Yep.
Yeah,
You got to hit.
Yeah.
You got to hit.
And,
yep.
And let me tell you something. Rondy Barber, when I came, they was telling me, like, they had Rondy out on the outside corner, and when I came, they was telling me that's why I was battling for a spot. When I got there, they moved Rondy to nickel. And within the first game that I was there, I saw Randy at the nickel spot. It's over. Like, this guy.
whole different game changer right there.
Whole different game changer, man. I was like, dude, if my stand here is relying upon, you know, outplaying him I ain't got a chance, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and you know, is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
He needs to be if he knows.
He on his way. Yeah. He is on his way.
Yeah, and then on the other side, you had Donnie, who was over there.
Yep, Donnie Abraham.
Brian Kelly. BK. He was safety, though.
Now, he was a corner when I was there. He was a corner. Yeah, he was a corner when I was there. And they had this other corner named, from a small school, Texas A&M Kingsville, named Floyd Young.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Floyd was cold. Like, super cold. But, you know, he didn't come in, like, as a bigger, you know, he didn't come in with all the fanfare. He was kind of like me, a free agent or whatever, and worked his way up. But I wanted to play, man, but I knew the players there were good, man. So like, it wasn't like I was not playing because politics. It was just, I mean, they had some good players. So, so I got a call after my second year. I got a call from my agent. What you want to do? I said, man, I want to go where they playing man-to-man. I got a chance to play. So he shopped my name around, and I ended up at the time getting one of the largest free agent contracts for somebody in my situation, like that hadn't played and stepped on the field yet.
Wow.
The Chicago Bears came in and was like, hey, man, we need a cover corner. And I'm like, I'm your guy.
Tear down. So wait a minute, before you go any further, you know that's my team. I was so excited. So when I found out you were going to the Bears, I was like, oh, heck yeah. They're getting me tickets.
Oh, yeah.
My gear. And then you got hurt. I was like,
as soon as I got them, hey, let me take it back, man. One of the saddest things I ever had to do, man, was go in that office and tell Coach Dungy I was leaving.
Oh.
Like they was trying to get me to stay. It was like,
he really liked you. Wow.
Yeah. It's like, man, you've been here, because at that point I was there about 2 years. And he was like, man, you've been here 2 years. And I mean, your chance going to come, man. You got to trust us. You got to do this. But the only thing in my head, I just kept thinking, like, but y'all play cover 2. I don't want to run in there on them run. And back then, you had Barry Sanders and, you know.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, and Barry breaking ankles like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't want to run up in there. Curtis Enos from the Bears. You know, they had some big boys back there. I said, Coach, now.
Jameion Spencer.
Well, look, and playing with 2 because you had Mike and then you had
Ward D. Yeah, Ward. We also had the other little fullback. What's his name? Lorenzo Neal.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I came in right after him. Yep.
Yeah. So man, it was sad, man. He told me, he's like, I think you making a mistake, and I was like, Coach, I just got to trust myself, man. I've been here 2 years, and they only kept 5 corners. I was the 5th corner, and had never touched the field. And so, and not only that, like I thought I was gonna get a chance to play in the NFC Championship game. I thought I was gonna get up. You know, they was gonna bring me up for the playoffs, and I didn't get a chance to play, man, and you know, we ended up losing to St. Louis, and you know, after that game, man, I was just so disgusted, man. My family came, and I had been on the bench a whole year, and my pride got the best of it, man. I was like, dude, I'm out of here, man. I'm gone. I'm about to go somewhere. I'm gonna go somewhere that's gonna play them, and I'm gonna show them. I went to Chicago, tore my knee up before we even got to training camp. So, yeah.
So is that how you kind of, because I know you're a physical therapist, so did that kind of gear you, because of the injuries that you had, did it kind of gear you going towards becoming a physical therapist?
Yeah, that's what I think professional football for me was an internship for physical therapy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when I tore my knee up, that was my first time having to face the fact that, you know what, this might not be for me. And so I was like, all right, so what are you going to do now? And my therapist was working on me, and I said, hey, do you like your job? He was like, yep. I said, man, I think I'm going to take your job. Like, not take it, but I'm going to come work with you. And he was like, you going to be a therapist? I was like, yeah, I think I am, man. And so he was like, when? I said, I don't know, hopefully in some years from now, but whenever I'm finished, I'm going back to therapy school. I'm going back to school to finish, and then I'm going to therapy school. And that's what happened, man.
And you enjoy your job?
I don't enjoy I'm still a competitor. That same fire that I had that made me go home. Mm-hmm. I still have that. So, but I love treating patients. I like getting the hard patients that people can't, figure out. And most of the times, what I realize, it's not about your skill set, therapy-wise. It's about your ability to motivate the person to want to get better, because that's the main thing that need healing, the mind. Right. And so I was good at that. But I also missed the hustle and the bustle, man. So I got into medical device sales.
That's what we were working together.
Yeah, just going, knocking on doors, getting kicked out of hospitals. Doctors telling me, physicians saying like, "Hey, how many times do I have to tell you?" I just say only 5 more. All I need is 5 more.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's good, man. I like it.
Good. And I know, Jameion, you coach your son's soccer team, correct?
I try.
What does that mean, sir? What does that mean?
I try. Look, I have learned very quickly soccer is a completely different sport than what I'm used to.
Wait a minute. You got to know his son he's tall and big, just like Jameion.
Yeah.
And he does not want to play football. He hates it.
Hey, man.
We're trying.
I'm trying, Sid. I'm trying. I told him, I was like, baby, the Lord has blessed you with some things that soccer just not going to offer for you, man.
He be running them down. Said he be running them down.
Look, it'd be like carnage. Kids just be bouncing off my baby, man. And, he getting all kind of penalties and warnings, and I'm like, I try to tell him, look, that's the good stuff, man, but it's not appropriate for soccer. See, that's where I miss, because that's the part I hadn't got yet. Because I'm thinking, look, you can't score a goal if you're on the ground, but that's kind of against the rules.
How old is he now?
He's 10. He's 10.
Ah, yeah, man. Ah,
He's
yeah.
so sweet, said, but he is not checking for no football. Do you hear me?
Hey, man. Hey, now that I'm older, like I love football. I mean, I love it. I love every second of it. I love the process of it, everything about it. Man, my wife was always saying, like, I got 2 little girls. And so my wife's like, I know you saying that you got girls and you wanted a boy for them to play football. And I was like, if I had a boy he wanted to play, like, and I would nudge him. But, but it's like, it's you gotta want to do it. Like that's something you gotta want to do, man.
And I definitely agree. And I've told him, if you don't love it, don't do it. Yeah. Because it will eat you alive if you don't. Eat you alive. And the process itself weeds out a certain individual, and I tell people it's a certain level of insanity that you carry all the time to go through it, right? Because you're a glutton for punishment. I mean, literally, and the more you get it, the more you love it, and that in itself is what will drive people to a different point in their life, So I told him, like, look, if you don't want to play, as great as he was in those first 2 years at it, and he realized a lot of stuff that he was doing, but he just didn't have fun. I'm like, man, don't do it. Don't do it, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
And it'll probably hit him, man. It'll probably hit him, But when you got that talent, I mean, it's gonna be. You can go out there 1 year and. And take off, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
he has. I even tried to bring in the, like, hey, girls like, like football players. He was like, okay. So maybe, he's 10 now. I did that 2 years ago. Maybe, probably a couple of years from now, we'll revisit that and see what's going on. Well, guys, go ahead.
Have you taken? Do y'all go to any Notre Dame games?
I have not yet. So that's next stop. I hadn't done it, and for various reasons. But he just recently asked me about going to one. So we've actually gone. Yeah, we've actually gone to LSU games. We've gone to St. games, and and he was young then, and enjoyed it to the point where, we could hang out at the concession stand after so long. He was good, right? But now he's interested in going to engage. So I was like, okay. So if he's asking now, I'm gonna take that time to take him. Now I don't know if my baby boy is gonna come around as quickly, but
that's my genius. He is oh my head. Say when you come home, we're gonna all get together. I mean, when I say we got some stories, it is hilarious. But the baby is a genius. He's like a protege with music, and
that's awesome.
So yeah.
Well, Sid, my wife. He's my wife. He's my wife with my attitude. That's what he is. I'm gonna tell you that much.
Perfect blend, man.
Perfect blend.
That is awesome, man. Hey, well, I definitely enjoyed this, man. Like a ton.
Thank y'all so much for joining me. I mean, first of all, I know, we've been talking for almost an hour now, but it's just I needed to do this because you guys are like my little brothers, even though I look very young. However,
you're only 22.
Exactly, and I'm 27. So. I just, this meant a lot to me. When I saw the connection, I was like, I got to bring them on because I have so much fun with both of you, and I'm proud of both of you. I mean, all the accomplishments. You said you may think the NFL played you, but that is such an accomplishment. lot of people don't make it that far. And you fought to get there. And that means a lot because, that's why I kept bringing up your size because, that made a difference. You really fought to play. And you made it. A lot of people didn't. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of both of you guys. Thanks for joining me. And hear this interview and other ones, please follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook or She Say Sports 23 on IG. And that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports, and I'll see you on the radio.